Welcome to TETSU TALK MMA, our top talk episode of the week. As usual, when I say we, I mean my co-host, the one and only sports analyst, Prince Dunn. What's going on, Prince Dunn?
What's going on, Apollo? What's going on, people? We back at it once again. The dynamic duo getting into this MMA game. What's going on, Apollo?
Yeah, the MMA game. It's been slow this last couple of weeks, or not really slow. It's just I feel like the roster in UFC has been cleaned out by all these champions that there's really no room for great fight or matchups right now. A lot of people are just got cut and stuff like that, but I think they're rebuilding, and I think they're making new stars. And one of the new stars we're going to get into right now in a minute. But we're going to talk about him, or Brian Ortega, and we're going to talk about CYBORG, her future, and the main event for this weekend, fight night, and that's Fabricio Werdum versus Alexander Volkov. So let's get right to it. Brian Ortega, we didn't get to talk about it. We didn't do a show about it, a review about it. He beat Frankie Edgar. I mean, we seen him beat other people. It's like Clay Guido, okay. Club Swanson, that's a tough fight, but okay. But Frankie Edgar, like, he made Frankie Edgar look like you need to hang up the gloves and retire because it's my time. What do you feel about Ortega, and do you see him actually, going after Max and continuing this winning streak and actually being the new era of the featherweight division and probably MMA?
Man, Brian T. City Ortega, man. Talk about a coming out party. A lot of people didn't get the chance to see him fight against Cub Swanson because, it was a pretty much it was a fight night card, and also it was in Fresno. So it wasn't somewhat of a small town in California. It wasn't Vegas. It wasn't billboards. It wasn't interviews. It wasn't ESPN. It wasn't Fox Sports, putting all of the eggs in the basket of these guys to try to promote the fight. So it was kind of like a fight that happened for us MMA junkies. We enjoyed it, but for the casual fan, they didn't get a chance to see Brian. But now you saw him against Frankie Edgar. For some people, that was their first time seeing the fight, and for it to go down like that, I was shocked, man.
Yeah, I mean, I even got it set up right here. Like that, think about it, nobody's expecting the elbow that close up. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're against the cage, which most of the time that happens. You're against the cage and people go for them elbows or spinning back fists. But up close like that in that range, the elbow was, especially like that much power that close, pretty much knocked Frankie on his ass, and that was pretty much a night for Frankie. And I mean, if Frankie had a rematch, you think Frankie can get him, or you think Ortega, was no fluke in this fight?
I think Frankie. It's tough because the only way Frankie wins that fight is by decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he also cannot wrestle. Period. So it's tough when you think about the matchup. I really thought that Brian had a good opportunity to win that fight on paper before the fight happened, but like my mind was like, okay, pick Brian. But like at the end of the day, you always hedge with the safe bet. So I took the safe bet, which was Frankie Edgar, which is how most people play their cards until you get a reason not to. You look back to Conor McGregor and Aldo. Everyone thought Aldo because that's the safe bet, right? Sometimes the safe bet ain't always the actual bet, that the actual guy that comes out on top. But I don't think Frankie could beat him again, though. If they was to fight again, I think he'd probably get choked the next time.
Wow. Yeah. No, I think he's legit. Before I was like I said, before I was like, but he's legit. he's legit, and I think he's needs to be taken serious, and that's what I'm gonna get on about his next matchup is against the champion, Max Holloway. So, do you think Max Holloway is the one, to kind of like, humble this? I ain't gonna say humble because he's not really too cocky, but he's confident. But you think Max Holloway is gonna be the one that put a stop to this winning streak he has, and kind of humble him to a point where he needs to readjust himself and up his game a little bit. Because Max Holloway ain't, he ain't no joke. I mean, he lost against McGregor, and he stepped down from lightweight division because competition was like a little steep there. But Max Holloway, he uses his reach and he makes it count.
The thing is, they're the same height. Their reach is the same. This is the first time Max is actually fighting a guy where he doesn't have the reach advantage. He may have a 1-inch reach advantage, or Ortega may have a 1-inch reach advantage, but their arm length is generally the same. They're the same exact height, same exact weight. So last time he fought someone his size, talk about Max Holloway, it was Conor McGregor, and he lost to Conor after Conor tore his ACL in the first round, and he got out-wrestled by Conor McGregor for 2 rounds straight with a torn ACL, and Conor McGregor is atrocious at wrestling. So that lets me know right there, even though that fight was a couple years back, that Max does not want to go to the ground with Ortega whatsoever. So the ground game for Max is non-existent. He does not want to go to the ground, and so he has to fight a smarter fight, if he wants to win, or if he could bait Ortega into like a brawl. If he could do that, then he could potentially catch him. But to beat a guy like Ortega, you got to KO him clean, because if he gets hurt, what he's going to do? He's going to pull a Fabricio Werdum, and he's going to drop to his back and invite you to come into his guard,
Yeah. I mean, that's probably why Max did step down, because you got Khabib and you got Ferguson, who are great on the ground, and that's probably the best choice. I mean, now he's the king of featherweights, so we shall see. I mean, I know I'm pushing the gun, but I ain't gonna lie. I would love to see if Ortega beat Max Holloway. I mean, it'd be a money fight if Ortega can win the belt and have a continuous streak, his reign as a champion. Him and McGregor. I'd love to see that. I think McGregor would catch him though. Be honest.
Either we know how that fight ends, one or two ways. Either McGregor catches him in the first round, or he gets choked in the first round.
Right.
Or the second round. Either way, he's getting choked. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he's getting choked. Either way, he's getting choked. Like this kid's jiu-jitsu is on such a high level. It's not even funny, man.
Yeah,
it's not even
badass.
funny.
He's bad.
Yeah, he's been rolling at the Gracie Academy in Torrance since he was 13 years old. He's 27 now. He first started jiu-jitsu at 13 at the Torrance Academy, which is the first jiu-jitsu gym that they opened up, the Gracie family, in the United States of America. It's in Torrance, California, the headquarters. So this kid, he's basically like a Gracie, pretty much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's the closest thing to going against one of them. As far as on the ground.
Yeah, he's legit. That same night, the one and only, the queen of MMA, I say, always been a queen, fought, and that was Cyborg. She's fought on the same card that night. Actually, she was the main event of that card, and as we all thought, she demolished this girl. This girl had all those credentials and the highlight reel, but then some people probably fell for that highlight reel. But I watched her YouTube videos and I was like, she about to get her ass whooped. But no, she tried to do her thing. She went somewhere that nobody else wanted to go and try to take Cyborg to the ground. I'm pretty sure that's what Ronda Rousey would do if she fought Cyborg. Would try to get her on the ground, but you gotta go for the legs. You can't do that upper body shit, Cyborg. That judo shit. What you call it? The homegirl, she snake bit her. That's what she did, was called a snake bite, and she tried to take Cyborg down, and she almost had something going on, but Cyborg's too strong.
It was embarrassing. It was so embarrassing.
Her
This chick,
punches are so powerful. It was like, oh man, it was like a sledgehammer hit this girl in the face. Even at the end of the fight, she was holding her face like like I never felt anything like that in my fucking life. It was so, it was brutal. It was brutal. Cyborg hit like a straight dude. Period. The
that
whole
chick had no business there. She had no business being in there, man. She didn't want to be there. You could see it in her eyes. And from the
right,
very first moment of the fight, she was ankle diving.
right.
Not shooting takedowns. To shoot a takedown, sometimes you might get caught with a knee in the chest, or you might get caught with an elbow, or might get caught with a punch coming in, but you're shooting. So you got to take that little minor damage in order to get your takedown. She was too afraid to really shoot takedowns. She was ankle diving.
Yeah, no.
Can't hit you when you ankle diving unless they stomp you straight pride style. So like she did not want to get touched at all.
What she actually did was an actual a shoot move. It's called a snake bite, and we used to do it a lot in training. And like that shit actually can break your ankle if somebody do it too hard. But yeah,
with the pressure, how she pulled the ankle and then she put all of her shoulder pressure onto it.
Yeah, it's called
to try to get her to get the takedown.
Yeah,
but
it didn't last too long. But yeah, like I know Amanda Nunes challenged Cyborg. Cyborg acknowledged it at the end of that fight. And do you think I think the Holly Holm fight, Nunes thought she found something that was a hole in Cyborg's game. But you think after this fight,
I suppose too.
She sat back and said, "Hold on, I think I changed my mind." Or you think she's still all game into this challenge for Cyborg?
I think that second fight made her more confident, even more confident. Even when I saw more holes in that short span between homegirl from Russia. I apologize, I can't recall her name. She's gorgeous, but fighting at 145 is just not for her. It's not for everybody, But with that being said, like I feel like she saw more because I saw some flaws on the ground. As far as Cyborg, her ground game.
Yeah,
I saw some flaws, some flaws in what she showed. That if she was fighting someone that was really
skilled,
really
exactly, I agree,
on the ground, someone like a Ronda Rousey or someone like even like a Miesha Tate, if it would go to the ground, or someone there's some women that are very elite, or Amanda Nunes. She's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and she's been a black belt for years. And I think Cyborg's a brown belt at this point.
Right.
Low-level brown belt. But, so, I mean, there's some flaws in what she showed on the ground, and you could say, well, maybe she did that because she felt like that girl was no threat to taking her back or getting her neck. So she was careless in her technique and the way in which she tried to get out of things. Or you could say that's a hole in her game. Her ground game isn't as stout as her stand-up. So you could take it either way. Because when you fight somebody that they ain't got nothing for you, you might take the shortcuts to get back to your feet as opposed to taking the technical route to get back to your feet, which might take longer, but you're not getting choked.
That was all strength that got Cyborg back up.
Yeah.
That was all like,
that knows what they're doing, you're not going to be able to just do that.
Yeah.
They're going to end up getting a hold of your neck or your arm, and you're going to be arm barred or you're going to get choked. Or maybe you don't get arm barred. Maybe you don't get choked, but maybe you put yourself in the position to where you lose the round because you almost get submitted. So it's some stuff, some stuff out there, as far as her ground game is still yet to be seen, Even with Holly Holm, she was losing that fight. And in the first 3 rounds, I say she won the fight, but I say the first 2 rounds were close, and the 3rd round she clearly won. But that fight was so close to where you would think she would go to the ground if she had an elite ground game against Holly Holm, who has nothing on the ground, but she didn't do that. So that makes you question her ground game as well. Yeah, she couldn't take it to the ground when she wanted to.
Yeah, a lot of people try to claim she doesn't do that because she feel like she has no need to, and she feel like she can take her opponent out standing up, than go on the ground. But I kind of call bullshit. Like, I think she's not bad on the ground. I think she just feel more safe standing up. She rather bang it than take her chance.
She's more comfortable. Yeah, that's her first discipline. You gonna always be more comfortable in your first discipline. If your first discipline is wrestling, you gonna be more comfortable wrestling, even if you've been boxing for 10 years and you've been wrestling your whole life. Well, if your first discipline is boxing, you will always want to stand up as opposed to being on the ground. So her comfort level is striking. It doesn't mean she's not strong on the ground, but she's definitely not as strong on the ground as she is standing up, and so there's some elite girls out there that can have an opportunity to capitalize on some of her errors that she might make down there.
So do you think Amanda Nunes is going to take this fight, or you think it's not going to happen?
Oh, she's taking the fight. I think she's definitely gonna take the fight. There's no one else to fight in her division. Like, if you look at her division is pretty clear. Unless they try to remanufacture Holly Holm. She's never fought Holly. If you think about that, I could see them doing that, giving Holly Holm a tomato can, and then rewrapping Holly Holm and re-gifting her to the fans as Holly Holmes fighting for the 135 title. I see that happening.
No, what about that girl? She supposed to fought at 214, Megan Anderson. Like, did she get injured again or something? Like, is that still in talks?
Nah, she has visa problems. She was in America illegally, so now she can't get back into this country.
Okay.
So the only way that fight happens is if they fight in Australia, and if they fight in Australia and Cyborg win, then okay, Megan Anderson will never fight in the UFC. There goes Megan Anderson, one and done. But if she goes to New Zealand or Australia and she happens to lose, now the belt is stuck in New Zealand and Australia when they only fight there once a year in the year. You know what I mean? So there's some issues in regards to that fight happening, which, in all indications, it might not end up happening because she's having visa issues to get back to the U.S. I guess she was here fighting with Invicta on like a work visa that they give a lot of these international fighters and people that come over here to work. And I guess her visa expired and she still stayed here. You know what I mean? Like, when your visa expires, you leave. You go back to your country. But once you're here, no one's going to, knock on your door and throw you out the country if you're not, doing anything, anything illegal. So if you're here and your visa expires, you have to take the proper steps to get the proper documentation to remain here. I don't think she did that in a timely fashion. So that's why she's she's having issues.
I never seen a girl. I mean, I go check out some footage of her, but I never seen her work. I mean, I'll say work like it's wrestling. I never seen her fight. You think she has a chance against Cyborg?
Not really, man. Not really, because I see her getting knocked out.
Yeah.
Because of she's actually bigger than Cyborg.
Okay.
And she's bigger than she's bigger. She's bigger than Cyborg. Her arms are longer than Cyborg, but her punches are slower. So she throws a lot of looping punches, and her punches are so long. There's not a lot of snap behind her punches, and so I could see her getting countered. I could see Cyborg throwing a feint, throw a couple feints, and get her to react off of a feint and counter her. Because her punches are very long, her arms are very long, punches are very long, and it takes a while for her to come back. It's when she extends her punches, it takes quite a long time for her, longer than the average person, to get it back to her face to protect herself. So, because her arms are so long, and she, in the striking realm, Cyborg's got her all day, and Megan on the ground, she's a really good fighter on the ground, but she's not elite on the ground. So, the way you beat Cyborg is you have to be elite on the ground, and you have to hit hard enough to make her respect your power.
Yeah,
Holly Holmes, for example. Perfect example is Holly Holmes. As hard as Cyborg hit, Holly Holmes hit hard enough for Cyborg not to get reckless. If Holly Holmes wasn't cracking the egg, she would have rushed her, and she would have finished that fight within 2 rounds. But she was getting countered, and Holly had just enough sting on her punches to make Cyborg respect her. So okay, this hurts, but I saw it coming. If I get hit with one of these and I don't see it, she might hurt me.
I think that Holly Holm is probably the closest thing could beat her, other than one other person. But that person, I know probably can't beat her because she's scared of fighter. If you're scared, you're definitely not going to be Cyborg. And that's Jermaine Durandamy. Like, I think she got the skills to do it. You know what I'm saying? But, like, for some reason.
Right? Because Cyborg, it ain't like Cyborg go, like, use these elite jiu-jitsu skills.
Yeah.
And what I mean? She's good. Her jiu-jitsu is good, but I mean, it ain't like she, you know what I mean? She ain't Mackenzie Dern with nothing to where, like, you know what I mean?
Jermaine Durandamy kryptonite is ground game fighters. Cyborg is not going to do that. Like, I don't know why she's so scared to fight her. I think she got the skills to fucking put it on her. Like, I ain't saying probably not knock her out, but, you know, fucking get a scorecard on her as that's hard for Cyborg to beat. Like, I think she can. Like I said, I think it's her and Holly Holmes on people can beat her. I think Holly Holmes, if she got another shot, she probably can do it. I mean, not knock her out but outscore her, definitely. Damn, my fucking phone. But yeah, other than that, I don't think nobody else can really give Cyborg any problems. But we're gonna move on. Cyborg, hopefully her and Amanda Nunes sign a contract soon. We get a day. I'm pretty sure they scheduling for this summer coming. You know, as usual, June card. Now let's get into. Now let's get into this weekend's card. Well, not the card, just the main event. Fabricio Werdum versus Alexander Volkov. I want to say before you get started, I think Werdum was about to mop this dude. I seen Volkov fight a couple of times. I think he only had 2 fights in UFC, and I seen all his fights in UFC, put like that. And just like George St. Pierre said about Matt Hughes, you don't impress me. I don't know what you think, but he doesn't impress me. Like, I ain't saying he's a horrible fighter.
Y'all perform on.
Say it again.
You're not perfect. You're not impressed with his performance, man.
I'm not impressed with his performance. Yeah, his performance is, like I said, he's not a bad fighter, but it's like certain fighters you can see that just like he leaves himself open for shit, and Werdum gonna eat that shit up. He leaves himself open, and I don't know. He's just not like he one of those guys that been getting by with just lucky knockouts and been fighting the right people. Like Stefan Struve ain't nobody be proud about beating. So I see Werdum definitely finishing this guy. If it's not submission, definitely TKO, ground and pound, or something like that. How you see his fight playing out?
Man, for me, man, it's kind of tough to say. I like Alexander Volkov. I think he's a solid fighter. I saw his fight. You know what he did to Roy Nelson. He dominated Roy Nelson a couple fights back. And also, like, we can't forget, man, like, Werdum is 41, I think. He's 41 years of age, man. How long does he go do this? How long is he going to show up with USADA in place and continue to be the Werdum that we've seen the last, like, 3 to 4 years? How long is that going to happen, you know? You don't have the luxury of having testosterone anymore if he once did. So, and you have to wonder about those things, too, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you saying.
Then the fight is in London, so he's traveling overseas to fight, you know, Volkov. You know, they kind of meeting in the middle.
Yeah, I feel that that whoever wins this fight probably get a title shot because Dana White ain't got nobody. I mean, after DC, of course, after DC does this thing with Stipe. After he does this thing with Stipe, I'm pretty sure, you know, if Stipe beat DC, next in line going to be one of these fools. I mean, if DC wins, there's definitely going to be a rematch instantly for Stipe. But like I said, all these divisions got cleaned out. And I won't mind seeing Werdum versus Stipe again. I watched that again. Did they fight twice or once? I can't remember.
They only fought one time, and that was
Okay.
that one time in Mexico City.
Yeah, he got knocked out.
Was it Mexico? I believe it was Mexico
I think it
City,
was
or
Mexico.
was
He
it
got knocked out.
Brazil? Oh no, it was in Brazil. Cause
Was it?
yeah,
Okay.
he came out, you know what I mean, like he was Tom Cruise or somebody, slapping hands with the fans and smiling and pointing at
Tom
people like he's a
Cruise.
politician walking into a speech. You know what I mean? They got KO'd in the first round. So yeah, it was in Brazil. That's the one time they fought, and he got KO'd, and that was that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I got a feeling this dude gonna get finished within the first or second round. I'm calling it right now. Probably be by sub too. But I just he could prove me wrong, but I doubt it. Like I ain't hate him. Like I said, he's not even really a bad fighter, but I don't think he's deserving to be in the top 5 or anything like that of the heavyweights. Like he should be fucking
He's just
fighting.
an average fighter, man. If you notice, man, the quality of talent in the UFC is slowly going down.
Right.
Everywhere, from the top 15 to like the guys on the undercard. A lot of guys on the undercard, they shouldn't even be in the UFC. To be honest, they should be fighting for RFA or Legacy or somebody. You know, Titan.
Yeah, like I'm starting to see like a lot of these guys aren't consistent. Like it's like lose one, win another one. Like it's like ain't no guys that's like consistent other than like I said other than the champions and other than Ortega or I can't think of nobody else off my head that's coming up and continuing to win. But yeah, like you see some guys you go, okay, this guy's been he been on the road, then he let like a nobody come in and just smash him. So yeah, like UFC rebuilding. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I said in the beginning. Like they're rebuilding, and they're trying to get some new names, some fresh names, some fresh stars, and
Yeah.
we just need some of these guys
it's just like
be consistent.
The cream, man. It's like the cream is not rising to the top of the crop.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it,
Yeah,
So everyone is kind of like on the same level of skill, same level of experience in some ways, to where like, the cream is not rising to the top of the crop,
Yeah. The rest of the card, usually we predict the rest of the card for these shows, but this card is like, I mean, not saying some of these guys ain't, top guys, but it's like some guys are finding nobodies, and we already know.
Yeah.
It's pretty much predictable.
Gotta give a shout out to the homie Jimmy Manoir in the UK. He's fighting in his hometown of London. Give a shout out to the homie Jimmy Manoir, a.k.a. Like I say, stay woke, homie. Stay woke. You feel me?
Stay woke. Right.
Hey, when Jimmy wins by knockout.
Yeah,
when Jimmy lose,
he
Jimmy
lose
by
knockout.
knockout.
Yeah,
like
right.
he just knocks
right.
like out. Like out. Like Rumble Johnson, like Alexander Gustafsson, like Ozdemir out. Like he goes out. So stay woke, homie. Stay woke.
Night.
Stay woke.
Fucking sheep jumping over him and shit. Yeah, so that's it for today's show. Our topics is, Ortega, let's see where he goes. Let's see if he get Maxwell. Let's see how he does against Holloway. I said Maxwell. Max Holloway. Let's see how this Nunes and Cyborg thing play out. See if some contracts get signed. Get something in the summer for July. That's why I'm thinking they're going to put this at. And Werdum and Volkov. Let's see if Volkov's the real deal. Let's see if Werdum earned himself another title shot. And you got anything to say, Prince Dunn? Any last comments?
Man, nothing to say, man. I just have to say, this is kind of like an appetizer. I would say this week of the UFC is an appetizer.
Right.
And the UFC is off next week, and then after that it's Khabib time.
Yeah. We'll be back. Our next show, we probably have a show before that, but if not, more than likely we have a show for UFC. What's going to be 223 or 4? I can't remember. These damn numbers up in the 200s. But the next UFC pay-per-view with Tony Ferguson, Khabib, and we got Thug Rose, my girl Thug Rose versus JJ, Joanna Jacek. That's going to be a great card. And we plan on doing this show live. Our prediction show going to be live for that one. So tune in. We're going to take comments from fans or, TETSU people, our TETSU family. be our TETSU family, subscribe, hit the notification bell so when we come on live, you can comment and interact with us about that card. We're going to predict. You guys can give your predictions. And we also can, throw questions at us, how you feel about the coming card for UFC 223, I think. But anyway, until then, like I say, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and as always, keep it TETSU.